Okay, I don't know if you can see that yet, but the steam is rising. Let's see if we can. There you go. Should be able to see that. Now, this is called venting, and you have to let it vent. Yeah, you can't see that one. You have to let it vent for 7 to 10 minutes. And what that does is that pushes all the air up out of the pots so that when the pressure builds, you don't have any issues. And it holds a steady pressure. And then I have the rest of my jar sitting over here waiting for me to run the second batch. I forgot to say the second way to do hamburger is to brown it. And that's what I did this time. I browned it in a frying pan so that I could get the tallow from it, so that I can make soap. So, brown it or boil it, it pretty much tastes the same. Be back to you shortly. Okay, we're back. Now, once it's been venting for 7 to 10 minutes, as you see this one already is done, then what you do, and you probably can't see that, it produces a steady stream out there. Once you do, you put your little weight on. Now, there are two different weights. This one is simply just a top weight, and this one is a weight with poundage, and I don't think you can see that. It's got pound markings on it. So mine is 15 pounds of pressure in Bexar County. So now I'm going to put that on, and once it comes up to 15 pounds of pressure, then I'll start my timer. Again, for pints, it's 75 minutes, and for quarts, it's 90 minutes. And then I'll have to do a second batch to get these done. The other thing I forgot to say is the two ways to do ground beef are, of course, fry or boil. I chose to fry it this time because I want to use the tallow to make some soap. So, and you'll notice that these lids are different. What I've gotten is these are called reusable lids, and they're from Tattler. Let me show you them. So, I ordered these from eBay, and I got 12 cases of 12. 24 cases of 12 for $190. And so there's 12 of these in one box. And I figured if SHTF happens, I probably couldn't stock up enough lids to be able to can my deer that we shoot or anything else. So I went ahead and got these so I could reuse all my mason jars. And all they are is a little plastic lid with a gasket. They say they last about 10 years. You can use them over and over. And you can buy replacement seals so that you just have to replace that portion. But I figured 24 cases of 12 was going to be more than enough for me. And so I'm going to go ahead and give them a shot on 2 of my hamburger jars. And we'll see how it works out. See if they seal up or not. And I'll let you know. Also, while I was doing all this, I took the time to take part of that pork roast, throw it in a pot with some potatoes and some dehydrated carrots and some homemade Lipton onion soup, and just cook, and some onions, dehydrated onions, and I'm cooking it up for dinner for the family. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone, because after all of this, I'm going to be really, really tired. I just wanted to show you something. I know it's really noisy because of the hissing, but you'll notice both pots are at 15 pounds of pressure. But the interesting thing is look at the dial on the temperature. This one is down to 4, and it's maintaining 15 pounds of pressure. This one has a rubber gasket in the lid. This one is but look where the dial has to be set. Almost to 9. So, that is the difference. The rubber seal makes it easier to maintain the pressure at a lower temperature on your stove. Whereas the metal seal, it takes more temperature, plus it's taller, so it's taking a lot more temperature to keep it up to 15 pounds of pressure. I just thought that was interesting. So be aware that when you use the large one and you're on propane or fire or whatever, you're probably going to use much more fuel than you would on the small one. So do it in your small batches if you're bugged out and you need to use it over the fire. Okay, YouTube, we have finally finished. We have 25 quarts and 26 pints. The last 4 are in the pot now, cooling down. It has taken me 12 hours, so this is not something for the light heart. I don't know if I'd ever do this much at one time again. I ended up doing 52 pounds, and I used 3 pounds of it for dinner when I made my pork steaks. Now, it looks like they all did really good, except 2. What's really interesting is my brand new lids. One of them did not seal, so I'm not sure about that. Considering I only did 2 of them and one of them didn't seal, the odds aren't that good. I also wanted to show you something else, so let me come and get the camera. Now, you'll notice that these jars look kind of pretty. I mean, they look fine. But over here, you see a white one. Now, here in Bexar County, our water is really hard. One of the things that you need to do is you need to make sure that you put vinegar in your water. Usually, I use about 2 tablespoons of vinegar and maybe 1/3 cup. As long as you do that, you don't end up with this white residue. Now, mind you, it will wipe right off. But it's just extra work you need to do. I also wanted to show you that the items that I browned, you can notice a slight difference. Let me zoom on out here. Not much of a difference between the ones that were browned and not browned. It's just a little cloudier, maybe a little chunkier looking. This one is a really good example. So if you notice the difference between the two, so the one on the left would be really good in something that you needed like a gravy with. Whereas the one on the right, you could add to just about anything. You'll also notice that the meat itself, if I can get in there, the meat itself looks a little better in the one that was browned. Don't worry about how the jars look, the meat itself, because you're going to cook it in a pan when you're done. And I think that's all I have. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch my video, and please comment and rate and let me know what you think. Have a great day, YouTube.